We're going to get into some esoteric stuff, huh? Is everybody ready? It's Manly P. Hall and Bill Cooper, Satan, Lucifer, and the Devil.
In this phase, I'm always reminded very strongly of the parallel that we find in the writings of Jacob Boehme, the German mystic of Görlitz. This shoemaker gives us a very interesting parallel of the relations between God and demon.
That's a picture of Manly P. Hall.
In the allegory or in the fable, out into space. And in space we find one brooding figure, standing upon a great cloud with folded wings of sable hue.
This is actually a picture of Manly P. Hall, the man that I've been suggesting that you read. What makes Manly P. Hall so brilliant is that he understood or was privy or gained the knowledge of esoteric philosophy by himself to the point in which he is the only person to ever been given an honorary 33-degree masonry status without having to do any of the work or, go into the lodges or anything of that capacity.
A great brooding figure leaning upon a sword and standing looking out into the infinite. And this brooding figure is Satan. And this brooding figure is almost divine in its own right. For within it is not only the creative power of God, but the infinite courage and strength of the divine will. And this being has come out of the mysteries of outer space to stand before the throne of the Almighty and to offer itself as a vassal of God. And it stands there and it speaks, and it sends its voice out into the great mysterious darkness that lies about it, out towards one softly roseate cloud that seems to be hovering over the great vistas of space like some dim northern light. And the powerful angel calls out and asks God to reveal himself. And out of the cloud and out of the mystery and out of the darkness comes the voice of a baby, a very tiny child. And this voice of the child, so faint, so small, so gentle, as to hardly be audible, says, "Yes, did you wish to speak to me?" And in that moment, Satan is so completely shocked and so completely baffled that he leans upon his sword and thinks, is this voice, this child voice, this voice alone in space, is this God? And if this is God, what can we expect of divinity? Here are all the clouds, the stars, and the cosmos. Are they to be managed and directed by a small child? Where is the glorious court of heaven? Where are the choirs of the angels and the archangels and the seraphs and the cherubim? Where are the principalities and the powers and the dominions? Nothing there but the voice of a child, speaking gently in the voice of love. And Satan says to himself, I guess I'd better do something about this. This is no way to run a universe. And if this is the measure of things, I think I'd better take over. So in this moment, Satan rebels against the Lord. And in this moment, when in his mind comes the thought, I will take over, I will be the King of kings and the ruler of the world, in that instant, the heavens are shattered from edge to edge. The sky rolls back. The clouds break open. And out of this mist and darkness and out of these rosy shadows, there bursts a light that strikes upon Satan with such a tremendous power that he is cast down upon his knees. And there suddenly before him, in all of its effulgent glory, is the God of might and the God of battles. The soft voice has disappeared, And now stands all the glory of the armies of the Lord under the psychopompos of the archangel Michael. And here are the hosts of heaven in their golden armor, and an ineffable glory and an ineffable strength beyond all human understanding. And Satan cannot understand. He does not know what has happened. And the voice explains to him that when he came in gentleness and humility of speech and appeal, he was brought into the presence of the great meekness, which is God. For God is always the gentle voice to those who come in obedience. But God is always the voice that is almost impossible to hear, the childish little voice of those who obey. But the moment there comes into the mind of man arrogance, worldliness, and power.
Now, do you understand what he's saying here? Okay, how Satan called on God and a childish voice came to him, and a childish voice asked if he wanted. I mean, the whole shit. Dude, doesn't it dawn on any of you why all these satanic fucks are pedophiles now? They're trying to do everything they can to eliminate the idea of the Creator, to demoralize any kind of innocence or happiness or any kind of joy or love.
And there is beheld the vessels of wrath. In that instant the sky opens, and the power of the heavens is revealed, is revealed in all its glory. Not because heaven has changed, but because rebellion has changed the sight of the one who beheld it. The glory was always there, but the meek in heart see only the meekness. But the proud behold only the wrath. And this was the battle between the divine mind and the mortal mind, between the will of heaven and the will of man. And in this great battle, man, by disobedience, released the wrath and came under the power of the retribution of natural law. Man knows of no laws until he breaks them. Man knows of no wrath until he disobeys. Man is not aware that there is in the universe anything but beauty until he breaks the law. And this was Bamey's expression or interpretation of the rebellion and the fall of the archangel Lucifer and his hosts and the great war in heaven.
Now, did y'all hear that? The fall of Lucifer and his hosts, meaning that Lucifer fell with fallen angels. That's why if you listen to Manly P. Hall, he talks about Satan coming from the sky, from space, because that's how the fallen came down to this earth. All right? That's why Hollywood, when you go to Hollywood, you become a movie star. You become a rock star, a rap star, a porn star, a fallen star. Do you understand? It's all celestial. All right? This is all worshiping of celestial shit. These are entities of energy because that's what keeps us alive. You understand? Just ask yourself this question. What keeps you alive? What is it that keeps synapses sparking in your head? What keeps you in movement and in motion? What keeps you breathing, etc.? You don't know, but it's energy. It's the amount of energy that you possess within your body. It's how much nourishment that you have in your body. It's how much sleep you have with your body. How much rest that you have with your body. And that's what animates the human body, is energy. That's what we are. That's what anything that is alive is. It's energy. So that's exactly what these entities are. Anyway, if anyone was listening to the first part of that Manly P. Hall lecture and how Satan heard the child, that's what God's voice was, a child. Because, folks, that's the innocence of humanity. We're all born innocent. We're all born of just complete bliss. We have no idea about anything. And as you grow up as a child, especially if you have parents that prohibit you from being exposed to disgusting, despicable people in this world, you tend to have a very innocent nature to yourself. Okay? And as a result, that is when and only when you actually feel true unconditional love, joy, happiness, etc. Now, my condolences to those that were robbed of a childhood of that capacity. But that's the focus of Satan and is fallen, is to make sure that your childhood is shit, so you never have an understanding of what love is, or what a meaningful joy is, of what being content with yourself is, etc. And that's why they're trying to take away your childhood. That's why many of you that had at least a decent childhood, you don't want to go away from it. And you keep attaching the joy of what you felt as a child to these materialistic bunch of shit. All right? Like, hey, look at me. I got what I had when I was like 7 years old, a Tutty Ruxpin doll. I've got this. And you're trying to live and go back to that. You can't go back to that. And that's why it's important that people try to shield children from these demented people that want to rob them of their innocence. That's why children should be shielded from the garbage that is shown on television. Children should be shielded from people that are going to take and rob their innocence away from them. Anyway, look, I don't mean to sound like some preacher and shit, but that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Everybody who is out here making a joke about this, they're already gone, dude. These people are already gone. I mean, people that are trying to make a joke out of everything and, they're already gone, dude. They're gone. And the more of depth of disgust and despair their humor, the more gone they are. We have free will. And that's how the devil and Satan and Lucifer and all that bunch of freak show anti-creators, that's how they get you into their shit. You have to agree that you're nothing, that you are a slave to Satan, and that all you're doing is to help fuel the fire of hell on earth. I don't mean to be preaching here, okay? You believe in whatever the fuck you want, okay? I mean, if you believe something just because you're following somebody's steps, well, then what the hell does that say about you? Free will. Always remember that. You can't blame anybody for your problems because you have free will. You can't blame the world that you're a piece of shit because you have free will. We used to be a country that wasn't afraid of anything. We used to be a country that would die and fight to the death to preserve our Constitution, to protect our communities, to protect our neighbors. Well, that's politics, baby. And tools of politics are weapons of fear. The threat of war, the threat of economic despair, the threat of viruses, that's literally that's what controls population. Fear. So it is what it is.